Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Piney Plays the Scholar, and today we are still here in Daggerlad, back with Harthaline, and she probably has something very important to tell me, so let's find out what it is.
Your tale troubles me, my friend, for Amroth spoke of a terrible figure that passed with an elf slung across his steed.
Ah, yes. Because we found that there was an elf taken in the last episode of Theleron, so therefore she is saying something that Amroth heard. Sun Yellow, I am gladdened by this reunion, but there is little else to celebrate. The High King sent me and my company eastward to learn what had become of the elves of Lorien, but alas, only Prince Amroth remains upon the field. His father and the others were routed to the north, but where they have gone we cannot follow. The prince is injured, but he will heal in time. I must ask, though, why have you come? Your tale troubles me, for Amar spoke of a terrible figure that passed with an elf slung across his steed. Time may grow short for Theleron, my friend. I think it is time we learned more of what this prince saw. Alright, let's see. Let us find out. So where is Amroth? Ah, here we are. Prince Amroth, and can you tell me, my companion, about the rider you saw? As much as I do not wish to recall him, I can. From what you have told me, he was one of the 9 Gwythrain, garbed in black and seated atop a great steed. I know not if he still lived, but an elf was slung limply across the Gwythron steed. He lifted aloft a great mace, and with a crack of thunder his master's statue was toppled. It was then that he looked upon me, and what remained beneath his hood sniffed madly in the air. There was a sorcery in his gaze, I tell you, for his eyes were as flame in a void. Perhaps he thought me slain, for he then rode on into the hills. No! It cannot be. It can be no other, Hithgul. The Witch King has taken Theleron. Be wary. The men of the east who slew my father have an encampment in the hills, and in there you must go. Thank you, Prince Amroth. I guess I should do a bow. There you go. If the men of the east hold the hillside, then we must go by secret steps. By secret ways! Yes, of course. Secret ways and paths.
If the Witch King has taken Theleron to the Overlook, we must pass through the Easterling encampment ahead.
Oh, fun. When my company came to Prince Amroth's aid, I heard a great cry and a thunder like flapping wings from above. It sounded like some terrible flying creature as great in size as the eagles. I could not spy it through the smoke, but I am certain it lurked beyond my sight. I do not know if this creature is a servant of Sauron's, but its presence makes me fear all the more for Theleron. Actually, I have a feeling that it could be potentially ambiguous at this point on whether or not the creature is a servant for Sauron. Because yes, in the Third Age, late in the Third Age, 100%, I'm pretty sure this is a fell beast, which is, of course, a servant of Sauron. The question is whether or not they were such at this point. That's sort of the entire question. It could be that Sauron, when he started to rebuild Mordor in the Third Age, that's when he did it. Maybe I have to read the text again to see if it goes into more specifics when the fell beasts were all made into their current form. If the Witch King has taken him to the Overlook, we must pass through the Easterling encampment ahead. The men in the east have grown arrogant behind Sauron's might, and they have left a small passage in the encampment open in the woodlands. Follow me, and we shall sneak in and avoid the dangers of the approaching their gate upon the road. Let's go forward and find out what we'll see at the Easterling camp and if they're really not paying attention. Now, unfortunately, it's a bit dark right now. I have a feeling and hitting all F10 doesn't do too much in this particular area. This is dark mortar, and unfortunately, that's what we get. Well, something's going to be up here soon. And we must move quietly, Sun Yellow. It is not far now. Asking a minstrel to be quiet. Hold! Their sentry seems to be on the edge of sleep. Well, that's a little bit more permanent than sleep now. There you go. Now, user interface. What is the primary interface that I use? As I said last time, I use mostly the interface, the default interface in there. Alright, got to kill a few more Easterlings along the way. I use pretty much the standard interface with a couple plugins, which I discussed a few of them last time. At least the ones that you could see at this point of the game. The Witch King's horse. Yeah, I guess you would have to be a pretty nasty horse if you were going to stand up next to the Witch King. Let us head up into here. And climb these dark stairs. Good grief. Where are we? Kirith Ungol or something? There are a lot of stairs here. Actually, since they're near the Black Gate, it can't be Kirith Ungol because Kirith Ungol is down near Minas Morgul. And Minas Morgul hasn't been built yet. Well, actually, it was been called Minas Ithil back when it was built. Or actually, maybe... When was Minas Ithil built? I guess I'll have to look that up. I thought it was built after this incident. Oh, the Witch King! Hello! You have come too late, servant of Gil-galad. Your fear has left you defenseless, and the elf has been borne away by the winged beasts of my master. The Elf King will never see him again, for he shall suffer evermore in the dungeons of Barad-dûr. But you, Sun Yellow, you shall be changed, and you will return to Gil-galad as his greatest foe. Such is the will of Sauron. Suffer now and rise anew into the realm of the unseen. The good news is that this wound didn't apparently kill me, but it looks like Arthaline is sitting there. I guess I should mumble a little bit. Can it be? Yeah, let's try mumbling again. Lord Elrond, Sun Yellow has woken at last. So apparently I've been asleep for a little while. Rest easy, my friend. You are safe from harm in Imladris. Well, that may some time if the wound has healed, but Sun Yellow remains in need of rest, Arthaline. Rest well, my friend. I shall return. And I have woken up finally! Yay! So, I've obviously been asleep long enough to have made it to Imladris. Probably shouldn't go running around in this room. This doesn't seem to be the most appropriate place to go sprinting out, especially since I've just come out of bed. Not a good time for strenuous exercise or anything like that. So, I'm not too sure wearing armor like this in bed is a good idea, so. Yeah, let me. Yeah, something more appropriate for bed. Well, maybe not quite appropriate, but you get the idea. Hello, Elron. How's it going?
It brings me great joy to see you upon your feet once more, my friend.
After you fell, we attempted to heal you upon the battle plain, but the Witch King of Angmar has dealt you a grievous injury, one unlike any dealt to our peoples before by the hands of the Dark Lord. The decision was made to return you to Imladris, far from the lands of the enemy. You suffered for years in relentless agony, and my healers worked to free you from the evils that lingered in your wound. When the war was ended, I returned to aid them, and learned much of healing of the foul wounds of Morgul steel. When at last you could rest, you did so for many long years. Despite my efforts, your strength has diminished greatly. It may take a great time, but I believe you shall again know the power that lies within you. In other words, I've gone from level 110 to level 4 while sleeping things off for a few years. He hasn't told me how many years yet, though, you notice. As for the task given to you by Gil-galad, do not consider it a failure, Sanyello. None could have foreseen the enemy's malice in sending his Nazgul to seize Dalaran. Tragically, he was never found, even after Barad-dûr itself was brought to ruin. It wounded Gil-galad greatly to lose you both in the war, and it is said that his light was dimmed through the battle that followed. Even so, he did not falter before the enemy. No, you did not fall in vain, my friend. Our victory on the battle plain that day bore fruit indeed. Sauron resisted our assaults for 7 years in the Dark Tower, but in the end he was cast down by Gil-galad and Elendil. Elendil's son Isildur cut the ring from Sauron's finger, destroying the Dark Lord and banishing him from the realm. Alas, there is more to be said on these matters. Okay, so it's been over 7 years. That we've established. Walk with me, Sanyello. Alright, I suppose. I will walk. You remember the war as if it were yesterday, do you not? Well, I'm not too sure. Remember it well. You are one of the few who remain in this realm that can recall it as I do, my friend. I come here often to reflect on the sacrifices we made in that war. Indeed, Gil-galad and Elendil defeated the Dark Lord, but they did so at the cost of their own lives. Uh-oh. That means Isildur now rules? The realms of elves and men were thus forever changed, and the world passed into the Third Age. Alright. And so, it has been for many years now. Alright, how many years? You're going to tell me, right? I do not wish to alarm you, Sanyello, but it is now 3018th year of the Third Age? That's a bit of time. Only an elf could sleep for 3,000 years. Even if much else has changed, Imladris is as you remember it. You have borne many burdens in your time, my friend, and so I give you leave to depart to the havens if you wish it. Don't walk through me! There's another here who has sustained a terrible wound in the war. Heathgold is his name. And since chance has woken you today, perhaps he too is healed of the enemy's wounds. See if he has woken from his long rest, and then we shall speak more of your journey to the havens. All right. Oh, yeah. It's been 3,000 years. You would think that we'll wake up on the same day? Not too likely, but we'll see. Yeah. It looks like he is still sleeping. All right, fine. His strength is returning, but it remains restless slumber. A few more months, I think. Well, a few more months is a short time to an elf, I would think. Especially in relation to 3,000 years. Alright, looks like he's going to be sleeping for another few months.
Much has changed since we last traveled together from Imladris, my friend.
It is unfortunate to hear that Heathgold's continued ills, but I hold hope that he shall soon recover as you have, Sun Yellow. You see, when the battle came at last to Barad-dûr, Sauron himself felled Heathgold with the deadly blow, and it seemed only that the grace of the Valar that he was not at once ended. Even still, the steel of the Dark Lord's weapon was tainted in much the same way as the blade that pierced you, and he has suffered its effects as you did for many long years. Now then, we have spoken enough of the past. Let's turn our minds to the days ahead. Yes, to brighter times, to wonderful times. All is well now, right? Much has changed since you were last traveled together from Imladris, my friend. It seems now an age of men, and I sense that the time of the elves in Middle-earth draws near to its end. Indeed, many have departed the realm for the uttermost west by the ships of Círdan, our friend of old. He is now called the Shipwright by those who know his works, and he dwells in Mithlond, with the few that still remain in his service as skilled crafters. Much of the wood used by Círdan is ferried to Mithlond by way of the port of Killadim along the arid Luin, and it is there you must journey to reach the havens. Sun Yellow, I have gathered your belongings and a few supplies for your journey. I have set your ring in this case upon the table across the room, and your armor rests upon the chest. The armor rests upon my body, actually, but that's beside the point. Maybe I shouldn't have turned on cosmetic wear for this particular episode. Oh well, that is my little problem. Okay, let's add some vermicitude to this thing. Since I'm supposed to be talking about my UI for this episode, but it's been such a blabby episode that I haven't had a chance to do so. No. I cannot bear to have that and no. Forget it. There is no way I'm going to walk around in that even for this little bit. Alright. So as you can see, of course, I have the standard thing here. Now, one thing that I do use that's not standard in the UI is something called large dressing room. Unfortunately, I still haven't logged off this character since starting it, so therefore the large dressing room is not yet loaded, so probably this wasn't the best one for showing off my UI. So perhaps I'll just finish talking and really talk about the UI in the next episode, because that's when we'll have to probably be seeing quite a bit of it in any case. So, you said you gathered my and a few supplies. Good. My ring upon the table across the room, and your armor rests upon the chest. As I said, it looks like I'm wearing it right now. It is still marked from battle, but time has not worn it elsewise. Indeed, the time of an age has dimmed only our light, and given rise to the shadow of the east. Concerning such matters, I have only prepared for you a tome of writings of the history of the Third Age thus far. You are free to claim them the ere you depart. Once you are prepared, we shall speak more of your journey to Kellendim and look at all these things you get. Of course, you get a full set of level 5 stuff to start your adventures with. The novice title as usual, a milestone, and choice of weapons. But yeah, if you're a warden, you have to start out with a sword, it looks like, because your choice is staff, runestone, or a sword. So let's accept this quest. And let's get our preparations. There we go. You prepared a tome. It looks like you prepared 4 tomes here to catch up on 3,000 years worth of history. Hopefully one of them is of songs to help them, because I am a minstrel, of course, and knowing if more recent songs, because I'm sure that some of the songs that I sang back then have gone a little bit out of fashion. Alright, let's get my ring. That ring is mine! Right? Oh, of course. You don't actually get the ring until you finish the quest and leave that part of the world. And then we have our armor here. So even though, yeah, I'm wearing stuff actually. Well, okay. Maybe this is just something I put on that looks like armor, and that this the... Whatever! This is the armor I'm wearing! So let us go back to Elrond and tell him that I have gathered everything and that we can set off. There you go.
Eladon and Elrohir are to follow an expedition to the ruins of Ithilien, and they shall see you to Kellendim in the course of their travels.
Yes, very good. In time your strength will return, my friend, and the power of your ring shall rise with it. I hope my writings prove to be one of use as well. I recount much of the time that has passed while your wound healed, but even I cannot be aware of all that has transpired since the end of the Second Age. As for your journey, my sons shall see you to Kellendim in the course of their own battle. Eladon and Elrohir are to follow an expedition to the ruins of Ithilien, led by the elf Doralas on my behalf. Speak not of this on any outsider's company, but I had a strange premonition, and in it amidst a field blurred visions a voice was saying, blood-red footsteps upon snow-colored black, where the dour king walks to take back his throne and finish what he has begun. Now, unfortunately, that is something that relates more to the regular elf intro and not to the high elf intro, but that's the way it goes. It is a troubling riddle, my friend, and one that I do not think soon solved. Have you any thoughts on this meaning? No idea. Once you roll a regular elf in, then you'll find out. Wait. I hear muffled creak as the doors to Thomsend open. Oh, it is just as well. Such troubles are best left to Dolores and his expedition. My sons await you by the door to the central courtyard, and when you are ready to depart, they shall guide you to Kellendim along to Ered Luin. May your journey be swift and free of hardship, my friend. Namarie. Namarie. Oh, I had to select my staff first. Yes, of course it would be a... No! Sorry. I've also have another character that I created, which is the Lore Master. And I was about to take the Lore Master's weapon, but no, this is a minstrel. And a minstrel, of course, would use a sword. But that's if I got a musical instrument. And here are Eladon and Elrohir. Hello there.
I am certain Father has told you all about the journey ahead. But do not worry. The matter of his dream need not trouble you.
So, Father has at last given you leave to travel from Imladris and Yellow? I must say that I'm excited to learn more of the battles of the ages past from you. Father told us not to bother you with so many questions, but this is likely our last chance, is it not? I'm certain Father has told you all about the journey ahead, but do not worry. The matter of his dream need not trouble you. Besides, the journey to Calendim shall give us time enough to speak on other matters. I would think the events of the past 3,000 years would be of some interest to you. My brother and I stand ready to set out for the arid Luine. If you are prepared, we shall depart at once. Whew! Time to depart, and time to finish this episode, and we have finally finished the High Elf intro. When we return next time, we are going to be in Calendim, and I could really actually talk about my user interface, which I did not really get time to talk about today. And that's what we'll be doing in our next episode of Piney Plays the Scholar.